Hello, welcome to AstroEnergy with astrologer angel Shelley Overton. Hello, and welcome to the AstroEnergy Astrology Show for May 22nd, 2018. How are you? My name is Shelley Overton. I'm an astrologer in Orlando, Florida, and I'm excited to be here with you today, especially today, and we'll get to that a little later. It's a special day for me, and I'll tell you about that after we go over what's going on in the sky. So in Orlando today, it looks like we're kind of overcast, and yet we have no rain, and I'm so thrilled about that because there has been a weather system parked over the south for a week already. And it's kind of like copy-paste in the weather. And I'm looking around all the different places, and it's rain and storms in Texas. It's rain today in Denver. It's rain this week in England. Los Angeles is sunny. Minneapolis has a little bit of overcast and 3 days of rain. And our forecast in Orlando is rain, 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 rain. So I'm going to get some later today, but I don't have it right now. So I'm very happy because the cats have been sitting on the porch for 4 days now because they're outdoor cats. I'm allergic, so the cats stay outside, but they've been sitting on the porch for 4 days, and I think they're a little stir crazy, and I feel bad because, you know, I'm in here doing work, and my cat, Cupid, gets in the window, and he's just meowing and meowing, and he wants attention, and it's kind of stressful. So I feel bad, but anyway, they're happy. They're out and about around the property and who knows where else, and I am here with you, and we're going to go over the weather, the astrological weather. So today we have North Node in Leo at 8 degrees retrograde. We have the moon at 6 degrees Virgo, which means it's right on my Mercury and my Uranus, actually right between the two. And then we have Jupiter retrograde, 16 degrees Scorpio, opposite Mercury today, almost exact. So Mercury's at 5 degrees Taurus and Jupiter is at 16 Scorpio. I'll get to all this in a minute. I'm just giving you positions, and then we'll talk about what it all means. We have Saturn at 8 degrees Capricorn retrograde, and Pluto's at 21 Capricorn retrograde. We've got Mars at 2 degrees Aquarius direct for the time being. We have 8 degree South Node in Aquarius. We have 16 degree Neptune in Pisces. Uranus 0 degrees and 21 minutes of Taurus. Mercury, like I said, at 15 and 21 of Taurus. And then the sun just went in yesterday to Gemini. So happy birthday to Geminis, and that includes my sister. Her birthday is tomorrow. So I hope she has a wonderful birthday. I know she is because she's retiring in about a week, and she's also moving in about a week. So very exciting times for her. And then Venus at 3 degrees Cancer. Venus just went into Cancer in the last week, and she is opposite, almost exact. She's about 5 degrees away from a direct opposition to Saturn right now. So female energy, feminine, mothers, female friends, opposite authority and father figures. So I don't know. Do you think with all this unique shifting energy that ultimately Saturn is going to shift from being masculine father paternalism to feminine? It's interesting. I wonder about that because that's the traditional authoritarian position. But of course, the role of men and women is changing in our society. Maybe at some point that's going to shift too, because, you know, Capricorn is a feminine sign. So it'll be interesting to see what the dynamic of that archetype is as time goes on. And Uranus and Taurus. So having Uranus in Taurus now, that means Uranus is in 8 degrees of a cooperative aspect to Saturn, and that means 120 degrees away, which is a trine. Looking at the chart right now, it's really interesting. We have some strong in conjunction going on. We have a lot of trines going on. We have a couple of squares going on and a few sextiles. So I'll get to that real quick here. The moon is in sextile to Venus, so they're in cooperation, and there's a lot of work going on around the home because Venus in Cancer means that she answers to the moon, and the moon is in Virgo, and Virgo workaholic, or at the very least, very service-minded energy. So our hearts or our minds are very much around domestic energy, but getting things done, doing work, being a little more practical, which, let's be honest, Cancer can be very practical about the house. That's kind of the realm of Cancer. So Moon in Virgo rules medical issues. Maybe we'll have a more pointed time trying to figure those out. We have an opposition to Neptune today with the Moon. So there is, see, again, I don't look at oppositions as necessarily difficult aspects. I look at them as more synergistic. So we have this energy cooperating at times. There's opposition, but we can also have some type of synergistic, or how do I explain synergy for those who aren't real familiar with it? It's like you're coming from opposite angles, but you come to a conclusion where you build cooperation out of the disagreement, and that things can work together where you take care of your part and I'll take care of my part, and then we work towards a common good. So we have kind of that energy, and I honestly like the idea of synergy more than I like opposition. We do have, I just feel like oppositions dwell on the negative. And yes, there can be difficulty when planets, especially very headstrong planets, oppose each other. But yet, when we each bring something to the table, then we can create something better. And that's the energy of polarities in astrology. So polar opposites. And I had that in my own family. My grandparents, my grandmother was a Virgo and my grandfather was a Pisces, and they are polar opposites. So opposites do attract, and I think they attract because they want to find their lost side. So if you happen to be very attracted to your opposite sign, that's why you're looking for the physical reflection of what you're denying in yourself. At least that's my psychological, astrological take on it. So so the Moon opposite Neptune. Neptune is very embracing and receptive, and the Moon can be very assertive. It expresses outward, and sometimes doesn't want to look at the softer, fuzzier side. It's much more critical and analytical and up in their mind because it's ruled by Mercury. So we have this mercurial energy where it's very practical and critical. And that doesn't have to mean that it's always that way. I mean, I'm a Virgo, and I think I've been pretty good about, for the most part, until I get in traffic, I've been very good about not being as critical. And I have Saturn in Pisces, so I've learned to embrace the faith side of life more, and not so much the criticism and the judgment. So that's really the lesson of that particular polarity. And so we have that in the sky right now. We have Neptune in Pisces saying, no, it's all about universal love, and Moon in Virgo going, but I can't help but notice that your house isn't quite clean, and there's dirt in the cracks and cobwebs in certain places. And so we're probably going to be using that energy to clean our homes. Venus in Cancer is going to be saying, yeah, see, I saw that too. And they're going to be very cooperative and work together today. So we've got Saturn in trine to the Moon today. So again, more of the energy of ownership and duty. That is definitely the Earth energy. We've got a trine. Let me see. There is a grand trine going on by Uranus at 0, Moon at 6, and Saturn at 8. It isn't exact, but it is still within orb of considered to be aspect. And so, my particular astrological software doesn't show that exact trine, but it is there. And I've noticed that there's some exact trines that it doesn't always pick up, or even aspects for some reason. I'm not really sure why. But again, any kind of electronics is very suspect at this time. Uranus and Taurus, again, it's hardware more than software, and it's the physical structure of our technology. So that is where we're going to see a great shift and thrust forward. It's also where we're going to have more difficulty. So material goods will be breaking down, or they won't work consistently. Like, I was going down the hallway this week and turned on the light, and the light started dimming above me, and it just went, and then it died. And then my daughter told me also, I was in a room actually, and the light flickered and then went out. So that's kind of what I'm saying. It's electrical energy, but it's in the form of the material, and you see it happen. It's right there before us. That's also partially what's going to go on with monetary systems and economics, that we're going to see this shift. Well, I wouldn't be surprised if there's also difficulty with things like Bitcoin or PayPal or the technology that we use to interface with any kind of what do you call it, banking interfaces online, that kind of thing. So it's all part of this Uranus in Taurus and Mercury in Taurus. Mercury at 15 opposite Jupiter. Okay, so Jupiter is education, it's expansion, growth, transition. It's in the sign of Scorpio, so it's psychology. It's the psychology around education, around foreign culture, and it's going backwards, so that it means we're meant to look back at where we've been recently since the beginning of the year. Jupiter was really at early degrees of Scorpio. And actually, I take it back, it got kind of far by the end of the year. It's going back to about September. Let me just double check. And it's 11/11, so make a wish. I just noticed it while I'm calling up 2017 ephemeris on my computer here, buying a little time. Let me see, there it is. So the end of last year, it got to 16 degrees, and it went in September or October 11th. So it'll go to 13. So from December 11th on, those energies are what we are going to be going back over. Wherever we were thinking about growing, changing places where we live, taking a job far away, starting a new educational course, teaching a new job, considering religion, considering changing religion, going more to church, things like that. Any of those things, selling a house, buying a house. So those are all covered under this. So we're going back over it. We're like, is that really what we want if we did buy a house? What is changing around that may be exactly what we want? Like my sister, I said, is buying a home, and the house is done, but there have been walkthroughs and things that are not 100%, because now comes a time when she moves in and finds out what isn't working exactly right. So there's kind of a going back over those things that we thought were good. And then of course Taurus and Scorpio, so Mercury in Taurus and Jupiter in Scorpio, is about value. It's about personal worth with Taurus, and it's about worth to others with Scorpio, so joint finances. And so right now it's a really strong push around conceptual understanding around our finances, and maybe thinking where we're doing business and where we are putting our money and where we're putting our investments. We have Sun in 1 degree Gemini, and that means it is squared to the moon today. So Gemini is Mercury ruled, and so is Virgo. So both planets are about analysis, but one wants to come up with ideas and the other wants to make practical headway. Again, when you have difficult aspects, you're going to see a little bit more feistiness and conflict. Look for disagreements, fights, tete-a-tetes, and it can be between mom and dad or men and women. Again, Sun is ego, but it can also rule males and father figures, and then the moon is mom and home and family. So it's about doing things out of ego and analyzing things that may be close to things that make us feel secure. And there may be a sense of fear where no, you really need to do it this way, or we should go that way. And it's the idea, it's a concept, it's something new and unusual. And practical Virgo moon today is saying no, we have to just be conservative and hold our cards close to our chest and not go forward just yet. So it's going to be probably male female issues, but Venus sextiling the moon means Venus and the moon, the feminine side is going to have more strength combined. And let's see, where is what planet? Okay, so yeah, this is definitely a male-female thing. The sun is in trine to Mars right now. So they're both in air signs. And that means also that Mars is in conjunct to the moon today. So the sun and Mars in air signs are now going, hey, ideas, new, different, let's go, let's have fun, let's be charismatic, connect people, let's do this thing. And then you have the females saying, no, we're not ready to go forward yet. We're going to come over here and we're going to kibitz and we're going to do the details and the practical work side of it, where Sun and Mars are saying, no, let's just get on with it. Let's do these great ideas. So that's really the vibe of those 4 planets. And they're the interpersonal planets. They're the ones where we deal with people, where we're going to have one-on-one relationships, and we're going to not necessarily get along with individuals as opposed to a collective group. And then the ones that are more transpersonal in between groups is Jupiter and Scorpio, and Uranus in Taurus, Neptune in Pisces, Saturn, and Pluto in Capricorn. So yeah, it's definitely an interesting time, mostly water and earth energy with a little bit of air in there to kick it up and make it pretty exciting. We've got, let me just look through what's coming up this week. I'm very relaxed today, almost drowsy. So I'm trying to be really precise and clear, but inside I'm just like, oh, I probably shouldn't take callers. But if you want to call, 347-994-3365. I'll take calls after my break at the bottom of the hour, and I've got about 15 more minutes, so I'm going to tell you a little bit about what's going on throughout the week, and then give you my special day information. So Mercury in Taurus opposes Jupiter today later on, and if you're in the Pacific time zone, it's 10:54 p.m. So Mercury, again, Taurus, money, Jupiter in Scorpio. This is value and worth at work and in financial arenas, and your own personal psychology of, are you worth it? So today and tomorrow, you're probably going to be going, I need a raise. This is not okay. I want that to happen. And so, definitely go for it. It's a good time to stand up for yourself. Moon in Virgo means that we're very responsible at work and we're going to take ownership. And that, I believe, that is always noticed by authorities, by bosses. And when you show up and you do your work, you're going to get recognized usually. If you don't, you might want to reconsider where you're at. But this is a really prime time to say, hey, I need this raise. And if you aren't, that's okay, because we're also going to have Jupiter go direct in July, I believe it is. Let me just double check that. Jupiter goes direct on the 11th of July. So that's also a really good time to start thinking about getting that raise. And also investments in July, because it's joint finances. Let's see, I've got tech and ego written down here for tomorrow. So the sun in Gemini trines Mars in Aquarius, which we're feeling now also. And so that's really good for moving forward with entrepreneurial endeavors and finding partnerships, because Aquarius is the networking energy. So, finding someone else who shares your dream and vision for what the company wants to become or go into business with you, that's cool. It's all fair. Of course, it falls in my house, home, and family. So for me, it's more about working out of the home, which I love, and I don't ever want to stop that in the foreseeable future. So Moon goes into Libra on Thursday, and there's an inconjunct to Uranus and Taurus. So interestingly, the Moon in Libra is ruled by Venus, and so is Taurus energy. So the difference is very similar to the Mercury Gemini Virgo axis, and that means that you're going to have Mercury in Earth sign Taurus, ruled by Venus, in wanting the pragmatic side of things, want to express through tangible goods and physical, like, hey, if you like someone, you're going to give them something beautiful and something they can touch and hold and keep as a keepsake. And Libra is more like, it'd be really great if we got together. We should go out sometime. And it's more conceptual. So you're having that kind of being at odds with how to express your love nature. And it doesn't mean that you can't come to a meeting of the minds or even desire, because you're both coming from a standpoint of love. You're just coming at it from different ways of expressing it, the elemental way between earth and air. And what did I say? Yeah, earth and air. So, boop, 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 boop. Yeah, we have the moon, squares and trines everything, because the moon moves so quickly through the zodiac. Every 2.5 days, it's either in cooperative aspect of the planet or in difficult aspect, because it's going to hit every planet through every sign, because it's going to be at that degree as it goes through. So for 2.5 days, we're all having the moon touch us off. And so today it is in opposition, like I said, to Neptune. It's in trine to Uranus. It's in trine to Saturn, square to the Sun, sextile to Venus. So a lot going on with the moon. And it talks to the other, like when we have the energies of these different planets that are triggered, it falls in a different place in our charts, and we express ourselves with the energy of whatever sign those planets are in. So when you're looking at getting a reading from an astrologer, from a professional astrologer, you can get those planets right, and that's what they do. They say, oh, well, this energy influences you this way, and it falls into this house, which also has this energy naturally, and then it also has the overlay of your birth date and what's there from the time you were born. So there's many layers to energy, and honestly, when I get into a chart, I could probably read a chart for 2 or 3 hours just finding the deeper layers. It's just so much. And then, of course, people ask questions, and so you track down that energy. And it's just never-ending stream of information that you can find out in astrology. I love that. That's my Scorpio moon. Anyway, we have Jupiter trining Neptune on Friday, exact at 5:52 a.m. Eastern, 2:52 a.m. Pacific. So, of course, we're in the middle of sleep. So that means Thursday night is probably the time we're really going to be able to utilize that. And Jupiter is retrograde, so it acts a little bit more stoic and a little bit more sad around what the emotional thing is in whatever planet and house it connects to in your chart. So you're feeling the deep psychological energy of connectedness to other people, and again, your personal value, and maybe going through some issues about money or whether or not you're going to have it, whether or not people are giving you what you're worth. And then trining to Neptune. Neptune in Pisces is saying you are a valuable human being, and you should have this monetary expression of your value if that's what you want. But you can also get a lot of other things. Neptune in Pisces is a wonderful manifestation planet and energy of your dreams. So it's also about really knowing what direction you're moving in with your dreams and how is that going to manifest money or value from other people. It is value creation. And so on Saturday, have Venus in Cancer opposing Saturn directly. And so it's really kind of a peek around what's going on. Interesting. I know somebody else who is also moving, and that is really kind of culminating at the end of this month. And they've been not knowing for sure when they're going to move, but I'm looking at the planets going, oh yeah, you'll be gone by the end of the month. And this is very much that energy. Venus, home, money, and desire, and it's opposing the structure and job. So while it seems an uncooperative aspect, is an energy where we have friction, and friction makes us take action. And Saturn definitely wants us to create the structure around that job, around our career, and what are we doing in a tangible sense. And honestly, Saturday we're going to want to be home, and we would like to be home more, but Saturn is, did I say Saturn? Venus is wanting us to be home, our desire around the home, and Saturn is saying, no, you've got work to do. So it could be a day where we'll be working where we don't want to. But I can't even believe this. Tuesday is a full moon. Monday is Memorial Day, and that means it's a 3-day weekend this coming weekend. So it's going to be a moon in Scorpio, Saturday, Sunday, Moon in Scorpio is usually kind of deeply emotional. I have Moon in Scorpio, and every time the moon goes through Scorpio, more and more I notice it's just a funky day. You kind of get a little bit sad, a little bit down, and just know that it may be like that this weekend. And, it's probably going to be really rainy for those of us in the South. And I was looking at it there, of course, we have two of the electrical air planets in Earth sign. And I'm like, what the heck? I mean, that definitely connects us to the Kilauea volcano. Obviously, this lava coming out is, and of course, Pluto, and it's really strong energy right now of creating new Earth and fertile Earth. Lava Earth is some of the most fertile on the planet, that direct magma and lava hardened, very rich in minerals. And so that's also in our life, in our charts. And, so take advantage of the Earth energy right now and really get something going. It's some of the most fertile times psychologically and energetically, and we've got Mars Aquarius, so you're coming up with new ideas and inventions. Let me see. Gosh, I can't believe it. No, that's a week away, so I'm not going to even get into that. I'm going to just go through the weekend, and we have the full moon on Tuesday, so next week we'll probably be talking about the full moon in Sagittarius, and that's a travel moon, but we'll talk more about it at that time. So the last couple of minutes, I just wanted to share with you that today is the anniversary of my practicing Buddhism, and it's a pretty big day for me because 31 years is a long time, and I just wanted to share some of my thoughts on the practice. And if you don't know what that means, that just means that I practice something called Nichiren Buddhism, and the basis of the practice is cause and effect. And it is based on the Lotus Sutra, which is the teachings of teachings of Siddhartha Gautama, which is the original Buddha. And it just means that I believe in cause and effect. And as I chant the phrase Nam Myoho Renge Kyo, it basically recognizes cause and effect, and it raises your vibration. And so when you raise your vibration, you're able to look at problems from a different perspective. Like, think about flying in an airplane and you're going over the city, and well, even just the eruption of Kilauea. I've been following that online, and you see all the pictures from the ground where it's 20 feet deep, hardened rock from the lava. And you're like, wow, that's pretty overwhelming, and you don't really have scope. When you get up in the airplane, you see just what it's doing. You see the path of the flow of lava. You understand it in perspective better. That's what happens when I chant Nam Myoho Renge Kyo, when anyone chants Nam Myoho Renge Kyo. So that practice has really helped become a cornerstone of my life throughout the last 31 years. And I really appreciate the practice of chanting and the people in the organization I belong to, which is a lay organization, meaning most of us are not professionally paid within the organization. There's not priests or anything like that. And we take responsibility for everything that goes on with our practice and the community centers and the organization. The organization is sgi-usa.org, which is a really amazing organization for peace, and that's the ultimate goal of the practice that I have. And anyway, if you're interested, you could go on there and find out more. But I just wanted to share that with you because it's such a big part of my life. It's something I do every single day. I chant every single day. And when I hear a lot of people suffering on my program, I definitely use astrology to help them understand it. But even myself, I know what comes my way. But when it's difficult to really get a grip on what to do about it or which direction I should go, when I chant, I understand the dynamic of the problem much clearer. So if you give it a listen or whatever, you can look on YouTube to find out more about it too. There's all sorts of videos. But anyway, it's just something special to me, and today is the 31st anniversary of me practicing it. So I just want to share that with you. Anyway, I'm going to take a quick break and we will get to our callers. And I'm so excited. We have some people who called in. I promoted the show a little bit more today, so we have more people calling in. I'll see you in a minute. I love that. It's so peaceful and just relaxing. So welcome back. This is the AstroEnergy Astrology Show. My name is Shelley Overton. I am an astrologer in Orlando, Florida, and I do private readings over Skype, and you're welcome to get a hold of me through my websites. I have one called astrologerangel.com and another one which is angeliczodiac.com. And if you go on those, you will find me. And you can just click the reading link, and I will contact you back right away as soon as I know you've purchased a reading. Also, if you are interested in looking at some of my artwork, you can go to my website, shelleyoverton.com. And that's where I keep my artwork. And I have so many websites. I don't know if I've told you this, probably somewhere along the line. But I have an entrepreneurial bent, so I create a lot of different sites for different things that I like to create. Anyway, those are a few of my websites that you can get my services on. Okay, let's take a phone call. How about 307? Hi, 307. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Who's this?
This is Alyssa.
Alyssa, hi. Have you called before?
No, I never have. I'm a first-time caller.
Okay. Wonderful.
Yeah, I was just. So, do I tell you my birthday or what?
Yeah. If you can tell me where you were born first, and then your birth date and time.
Okay. I was born in Price, Utah.
Okay.
And my birthday is September 17th, 1979.
Okay.
And I'm not for sure the time I was born. I think it was around 3 or 4 in the morning.
Okay, I'll just put you down for 3:30 a.m. That'll be compromise.
Okay. Okay.
So, okay, go ahead.
And I was just wondering what you see in like the next couple of weeks of what my charts say in the next couple of weeks, if anything exciting or good's going to be happening.
Yeah, actually, let me just real quick. I want to see Mars is going to be going retrograde here soon, and I just want to double check the date. So it's going retrograde the end of June, but before then, Mars right now is in your house of work and health. So I would definitely be cautious around stepping places, like with footwork, because it rules the ankles. And it can be, Mercury is in Taurus, which is also the body structure. So having the fact that Mars is at odds right now kind of with Mercury just be cautious around, stepping off curbs and taking your time with footwork because you don't want to injure your ankle. And the only reason I say that is because it's in your house of work and health. And
that is so funny. I just tripped on the porch, and I thought I sprained my ankle, but it wasn't sprained. But it was just like 3 days ago I did that.
Okay, well, more of that. Just be really cautious right now because that energy is a little bit stronger for you. Okay. Let me see here. Oh, Jupiter is really close to your natal Uranus in the house of family, so that can make you really want to get away from family members. Honestly, it's kind of like, you're just driving me nuts. I just can't take you anymore. That kind of energy.
That's how it's been lately.
Is that what it feels like? Yeah. And then your Mercury also is opposite your natal Uranus too, because your natal Uranus is at 18 Scorpio, and Mercury is opposite that on your Chiron. Actually, your Chiron is at 13 Taurus, and that means that that's your deepest wounding in your life, and so it has to do with being, well, it could do with a lot of things, but it's authority figures, father figures, or how bosses treat you in your career. Like, are they valuing you? It means that there may have been an ongoing lack of value for you in the business world or in the hierarchical structure of work or your career, or it could also be that you're not recognizing your own value and that your environment is reflecting it back, but it is your deepest wounding. So there was it could be an incident or it could be an ongoing thing, but it's important to you.
Probably my dad.
Your dad? Okay. And then Mercury's triggering that right now. So it's kind of like that's kind of an energy you're in sync with mentally, and you're thinking about the same kind of dynamic going on in some place in your life right now. So that actually will be going on for a little bit because Mercury, it isn't a very slow-moving planet. It goes fairly quickly, but it's still in a conjunct position, meaning 8 degrees either side of your natal Chiron. So I'm just looking here to see how long it's going to take to move away. About the 26th of May. So about 4 more days, it'll kind of move off of that energy. And I think that will also give you more strength to really have value about yourself in either the dynamic with dad or in your career. You also have Sun in Gemini right now. It's 2 days away from going into your house of the 11th house of friendships and work and networking and organizations associated with career. So that's very social energy, and you're going to strong inclination to meet friends or meet new people who will influence you in your career. And they're like-minded people. So it's a real social, happy, energetic kind of cooperation coming up in the next month, actually, because Sun just went into Gemini. Yeah, and so for a whole month, you'll have the Sun right there. And for the last month, Sun's been going through Taurus. And again, that's kind of, for you, your career is practical and, may seem slow moving. Taurus is a very methodical sign. So you're very methodical about how you approach your career. But being in Gemini, it's a more social energy, so you're going to be really more willing to connect to others and network and tell people, hey, this is where I'm coming from. What have you got for me? Let me see what else you have. You have a lot of Virgo. You have Saturn and Sun and Mercury in Virgo. And then you have Venus in Libra and Pluto in Libra, which are the social signs and also air energy. So today you have Sun approaching a trine to your Venus in the house of money, and it's at the end degrees of both career and money houses. So there's kind of a wrapping up of the energy around connecting to, I want to say, a woman who may have been influencing you in work or around money. And it's like a balance. And so I think that there's also a connectedness to the friendship. So you may run across a woman who, and also having Venus transiting your house of social situations, I would say there's probably a woman coming in who's going to give you more of a perspective or even an opportunity throughout the course of this coming month. And then Venus Yeah, Venus goes into your 12th house, so that's going to be some more psychological things coming up for you around women and home. And you have Mars in that same house in Cancer. So we have the same Mars. That's interesting. I believe mine's at 25 Cancer, so it's yours. So, yeah, you're going to have this stronger, like, holding up in the house and just really nurturing yourself and your own belief systems. So, do things that like are meditative or creative or expressive somehow that's just for you. That's what you need to do. All right?
Okay, good. All righty.
So
Okay,
thanks for the call.
much.
You're welcome.
Yeah,
My
thank
pleasure.
you.
You're
Okay,
welcome.
have a
Bye-bye.
great day.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye. Okay, let's take another call. 651, where are you?
Hi, Shelley. This is Linda.
Hi, Linda. What's up, big world?
Well, I'm looking for a general reading to see what kind of pops up because there isn't anything specific.
Mm-hmm. October 2nd, right? I just want to make sure I've got everything accurate.
Yes.
Okay. So something general. You've got, well, of course, there's a lot of specifics because that's what I do. But Mars for you
well,
is...
there's something that is popping out.
Yeah, Mars is on your rising sign within minutes. It's at 2 degrees Aquarius, and you have a 2-degree Aquarius rising, and it's still in your 12th house. So it's really wrapping up the energy of, well, it's like psychology. I know Scorpio for me is my real psychological planet and sign, or not planet, but sign. And the 12th house is subliminal, it's subconscious, but it's a belief system. So I guess they're both Scorpio and Pisces are belief systems, but more psychological when it comes to Scorpio, like analytical, pick it apart. And the 12th house is where you say, this is what I believe about my life. This is where I am connected to spirit. And Mars has been there for, I'd have to look it up here. 11 degrees Capricorn. So since the beginning of April. And so you've really been more wanting to hole up and do things privately, especially in April when Mars is in Capricorn. It's much more like protective. But being an Aquarius, and it just went in, now you're starting to come out of the shell and you're starting to express yourself more, and it's an energy of wanting to connect to friends and find your soul group. And you're really you're finding more expressive energy, or again, it's air sign, it's look for new ideas, and it's going in. Mars is going into your first house of self, so it is going to make you want to be more about yourself, more, and I say it, more selfish, which is okay because Mars is supposed to do that for you when it goes through your first house. So it's a time of really finding out who you are around ideas and chasing down some of the RAM downloads, really, because it's channeling energy and very electrical. You're probably not going to be able to rest your mind very easily for quite a while, only because Mars will be in Aquarius for a good long time because it goes retrograde in July, and it'll be there until August. And only for a brief amount of time. It's only in Capricorn and out of Aquarius for like 3 weeks. 4 weeks, I take it back, 4 weeks. And then it goes back into Aquarius. So most of this year is going to have Mars in Aquarius, most of the meat of this year until November. So middle of November is when it finally, and you're only having a month break in that whole thing. From now until November, you'll have Mars in Aquarius. So that's the first house is going to make you really social and really want to connect to others. And I think what it's going to do is make you aware of how you connect to others on a large scale, but you'll probably bring friends and individuals who are more eclectic and different than the norm, and that's also okay because it's a reflection of you and how you want to express yourself in this world, which is the first house. Let me see.
Yeah, that truly is. I truly am in a space of like reviewing and identifying, my own identity separate from reflecting others.
Oh, good. Yeah, no, that's wonderful. And then you've got the moon in the house right now at the very last degree of your house of marriage and partnership. So it's very practical energy around a partner, and then it's moving on top of your Venus. and then it'll move on top of Mars in the course of today and tomorrow. And it's kind of focusing you on how you express yourself in love as well. And Venus, Mars for you. So this is an interesting, Venus and Mars are right next to each other in your chart, which means that you don't necessarily look to someone else to complete you, because Venus is our desire and our feminine nature, and Mars is our masculine side and how we express and our masculine nature. In our charts, when they're separate, we're always looking for the other person to kind of balance it. So you're looking for someone else's Venus to balance your Mars and vice versa with the Mars. But you have them together, which means that you complete your own cycle of masculine and feminine. And because it's in Virgo, it means that it can be, you're very mental. And so people might find you not as warm and fuzzy when it comes to being in a relationship. Although you do have Moon in Leo and you have Pluto in Leo, you love children, and there's a warm, loving childlike nature that you express in the relationship. But kind of, if somebody's, well, I'm not getting my needs met, you always analyze me and try and solve the problem. That's where it's coming from. But you do like relationships. I mean, you're a real giving person in relationships, because Mars in Virgo, it's in the 8th house, and that's commitment, and it's very deep energy. So when you commit to someone, you're all about them. It's just you can be a little bit reserved at times in long-term committed relationships. So, and Mars in your first house now in Aquarius is also going to kind of add to that detachment, and it's this being about you, and it's okay. I mean, Mars in Virgo, you definitely think about others, and you have 4 planets in Libra. You're a very compassionate person, so it's okay once in a while to really be selfish. And what I'm seeing here for you, as far as Mars going into the first, it also will trigger Jupiter towards the end of the year when it gets closer to the later degrees, and that's about having fun. You definitely want, and it's going to oppose your Leo energy, so it's going to trigger your Leo energy. So it is about having a lighter outlook, and having Mars in the 12th, which you've had for quite a while now. It's kind of good to get it in the first, where you can express and not feel as restricted. And I think you're going to feel more coming up for the next month.
Yeah, that's powerful. I feel very restricted in expressing myself to others.
Yeah, it's coming out, though. I can tell you, Mars Aquarius for everyone is going to bring this eclectic, unpredictable energy out, where people are going to start getting outside of their dogma, not going to be as beholden to, no, that's the way we've always done it. They're kind of going to have their noses rubbed in it a little bit. It's going to feel like, no, we're going to go do something different, and I don't want to do that same old anymore. And it's really, we're all going to be affected by it, but for you, you're so much more identifying with it because it's in your first house. So,
okay.
Yeah, but,
right.
Run with it. Okay?
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. My pleasure. Take care.
You too.
Bye. Okay, let's take 760. Hello, 760. How are you? Hi, who am I talking
to? How are
to?
You?
Good.
I'm Orion.
Okay. Spell that. Did you say Brian?
Orion, O-R-I-O-N.
That's what I thought you said. I thought you said Orion, and I'm like, did I really hear that? Oh, could you give me where you were born, and then I'll take your birthday?
Sure. I was born in Santa Ana, California.
Okay.
And my birthday is 12/28, 1985.
Okay. And what time?
At 12:43 a.m.
Okay. All right. What can I do for you today?
I'd really like to, if you could, give me a little bit of clarity as to what I might be expecting with this Uranus going into Taurus for myself.
Uh-huh. Sure. Hang on one second. Okay. Uranus in Taurus falls in your house of marriage and partnership. So it's going to make you less predictable in relationships, actually. Yeah, it's helping you express the other side of things where, well, first off, Uranus going into, or when it was in Aries, was also in your house of marriage and partnership. So it's been there for 16 degrees, or basically 3.5 years. So now you're having this shift from the masculine, I want it this way, I want it my way. It really pushes you to express your male side and your sense of detachment from anyone else in a relationship. That's a little bit, I'm sorry to say, it can make you very like, this is what I want, and it's a power energy too. So you can in marriage / partnership, it makes you want it your way. It kind of gives you that little kid, like, I want what I want when I want it. Now, Uranus and Taurus is more about the feminine receptive side. So instead of trying to hammer it, make it happen, now you're able to see, and I got chills with this, so I know this is a fact, you're able to receive it more. So instead of now having to always feel like you have to act on what you're getting, you're able to allow it to come to you, and you've already created the causes, so now you're getting the effect, and it's going to come back to you. So whatever you put into that part of your life, now you're able to reap. So if you're looking, definitely I would say it's a really strong time drawing in a partner, but again, unusual, eclectic people, because it's Uranus. So it's not, traditional, even though Taurus is kind of a traditional sign, and Earth sign. So I always like the imagery of Ralph Lauren to describe a Taurus energy, because the whole aesthetic of Ralph Lauren is very traditional, British, conservative, horses and ads and things like that. That's Taurus. It just wants the old school. It wants elegance, it wants beauty, and it's receptive feminine. So Uranus is like, I'm going to paint my face and dye my hair purple, and whatever, you do you. I'm going to go do me. So it brings this kind of unusual, eclectic, eccentric energy to that pragmatic side of yourself. So.
Okay.
You're like a good person over there.
And how is it working with the really intense Pluto energy that I've been feeling in Capricorn?
Well, the good thing is that the intense Pluto energy had been squaring Uranus. I just want to let you know that whatever you're doing is kind of loud on the mic. I'm hearing a lot of shuffling of papers and things, and pencils. So, yeah. Anyway, Uranus squaring Pluto was a very intense, like, we're trying to change, and a side of you doesn't want to change, but then there's the side that does, and that's where that conflict was coming from. And Pluto just went into the house of home and family. It's only 3 degrees in, so in the last year and a half, you've really been feeling that trigger around home and family. And so because it was in Aries, it was a conflict, and even before it was in your house of communication, so you were not able to really get out your point necessarily, but you probably spent a good amount of time, and are still in a certain amount of it, getting your communications life expressed. Like, for me, I have energy in that house too, and it is making me write a book. So it wants you to communicate something. But Pluto moving into your fourth house, in the home house, is where you're really challenging how you've always thought about things, belief systems you have around family, and getting deeper into the psychology of what it is you want your family life to be, and having Uranus go into a sign which will ultimately be in positive aspect to that house. It means that now you're more able to really put your energy into being around the house and focusing on that, as opposed to what you have to do mentally and expressing it. Now you're going to be able to focus more on the home life, in a long-winded way of saying it. But, yeah. And Mars is there as well. Mars is in Aquarius there, so you are also bringing in that same kind of eclectic, revolutionary, visionary energy to the home life. So
that makes sense. I'm about to start building my own house in 6 acres that I just got with my family. So
how fun! Wow, that's exciting. Very cool.
Thank you.
So, yeah, you're going to be really putting all your energy into Uranus, and Mars is in Aquarius, like I said, most of this year. So it's going to be about, taking action, coming. I think the house, I've got chills with this. You're probably going to do an amazing job with electronic tech, and, kind of like a state-of-the-art electronic house is what I see. If you do something like to build a house, it's going to be like, no, we got to have all the latest technology, and the lights will be on off by vocal, or whatever it is that you see as your vision. It's definitely going to get expressed in that realm. So
yeah, thank you. It's just
You're
going to be
welcome.
the start of a holistic retreat center.
Oh, that's amazing.
Hopefully,
Very cool.
it's also going to be a sense of nourishment for a lot of refugees stuck across the border.
Oh my gosh, that's a wonderful, wonderful thing you're doing. And Aquarius is the sign of the humanitarian. So Mars in Aquarius in your house and home and family absolutely supports that vision. And you have Jupiter in Aquarius also, and that's in your home and family house, very last degree of home and family. So there is fortune. Oh, I've got chills with that one too. There's a lot of fortune in what you're doing. And I think it's going to really touch a lot of people on a spiritual level. So good for you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you
that's
for
awesome. So happy to hear that. Yeah, my pleasure. We'll call back another time, and take care. And luck to you on that endeavor. Okay?
You too. Thank you.
Okay, bye. What a great name, Orion. I love Orion, the constellation. I look at it all the time. It's the one I probably notice more than any other constellation. So that's an awesome name. Okay, let's take 817. Hi, is this Nancy?
Hey, how are you? Yes, I never met
Hey,
you.
good.
I just quarter after when I hit it.
Oh, awesome.
Well,
what's going on? What's going on in your
it
world?
is awesome. I've got Mars sitting on top of my Saturn and Jupiter conjunct, which are in my first house. That 2 degrees of Mars, and the moon is opposite or conjunct my north node. I gave my notice to my corporate.
Yeah.
And
Go ahead.
what?
I said, well, the moon's on your moon also. You have a moon conjunction and a north node conjunction. That's amazing.
Yeah, exactly.
And
so
Pluto.
I guess I gave my notice for my Monday through Friday corporate crazy madness stressful job to focus. I did yesterday and time and do multiple jobs, but all more in control of my own hours and time. I just didn't know if that Mars in the first house. You were mentioning to the other girl that she had to be careful. Is that something I need to watch out for
Well, I think everybody should be careful with Mars in Aquarius because, like I said, it rules ankles and joints, and you just want to be cautious because at the same time it's in conjunct to Mercury and Taurus, and that's the body, the physical body. Mercury is unexpected accidents. So, you just really want to be cautious. And then, of course, Uranus, which is the more intense volume, or it's more intense of the same kind of energy as Mercury, and so when it gets to that same kind of position, it's just really a strong time of being cautious around accidents and how it's going to affect joints and ankles specifically. So and also transportation. So
I work in travel.
Yeah, so it's on your Jupiter, so you're not planning a trip via airline, are you right now?
No, but I'm overseeing a project where there's like 4,000, 5,000 people traveling to a destination starting next week, Monday, for the whole week that I oversee this. So there's a lot of flights coming from all over the United States and actually all over, but I'm hoping that full moon on Tuesday doesn't throw everything off. Yeah, I'm trying to remember what it's in. What did I say it was in? Sagittarius. I've lost track. Yeah, Sagittarius. So, full moon in Sagittarius, the full moon in Sagittarius, there's not going to be any planets per se in Virgo. You do have planets in Virgo in your chart, but the moon will be in Sagittarius, which rules travel in full. So it can be good. Short of doing it on that day in that particular chart, you want to avoid planets that square it, and there aren't any, nothing in Virgo and nothing in Pisces. Oh, Neptune and Pisces would be the only one. What degree is it? Let me look at what degree it is real quick. 8 degrees. So, I'm just looking at where the planets are. I mean, it's not a direct hit, but let me put it this way. Even though I can read certain aspects and know when it's heightened time for accidents, even plane accidents or eruptions of volcanoes and whatever, I mean, that's all foreseeable through astrology. You have to live your life, and there's so many variables that you cannot control, and especially if you're in charge of making like dozens of airline tickets. There are so many airline flights every day.
Oh, I know.
I wouldn't get bent out of shape about that particular thing. I mean, for me, it's more like, okay, you're going to see this in the news, but you can't say I'm going to avoid it. I mean, if it's really specific to your personal chart, like right now, I would say, well, if you made plans today for airline travel, I would recommend against it because your personal chart has the moon at 6 and it's in conjunct to Mars right on Jupiter, which rules airline travel. And I would say today's not a good day for you to make airplane reservations or even fly because it's just really like nasty energy for that. And then you also have an in conjunct with Venus. And so, yeah, but as far as like being able to foresee every single variation of flight you're going to recommend, you just can't be overwhelmed by that. So, but yeah, that's kind of what I use it for.
And so many different people traveling too, they're all going to have a different chart. So if somebody's going to have something hitting,
exactly.
There.
And what were you saying?
I was just saying, as far as this big shift that I've decided to just go for.
That's awesome. And Mars in Aquarius is taking it's autonomy. It's taking ownership of your own path and your own vision. It's on your Jupiter, so it's very expansive. Now Mars has passed your Saturn in Capricorn at 28, so you've got this really awesome shift going on. Mars is like, okay, we're not going to just sit back and wait for something to happen anymore. Now it's in Aquarius. It's like taking the reins, going doing it, not being held back because Aquarius does not want to be restricted. It is the next sign after Capricorn, which loves to restrict. So it's like, nope, I'm done with the chains of restriction. Now let me go. And so you're off to the races. And definitely, yeah, with Jupiter going direct in July, that's another wonderful aspect for you in your chart because it's in your house of career. And that means that you're also going to move forward and there's going to be a lot more flowing at that time as well. I mean, in career. So it's coming. It's just a couple months away.
Oh, good. Well, and I'm okay with starting and getting it slowly. So perfect. Thank you, Shelley. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome. My pleasure. Okay, and I'll let you go. Take care. Have a good week.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome. Okay, I apologize to anyone I didn't get to this week, but the show is over, and please do call back next week early, and I will try and get to you. Thank you so much, and see you next week. Bye. Take care. Thanks for stopping by AstroEnergy this week. If you would like to get a hold of Shelley Overton, you can get her at astrologerangel.com, on Facebook at AstroEnergy or Astrologer Angel. The music was provided by Kevin MacLeod at incompetech.com with additional music by Ironwood Rain. Check them out on the net at ironwoodrain.com. To subscribe, please click the picture of Shelley on the right or the red button below.